did One Piece peak during the War arc? Now, when I think about One Piece and during its peak was definitely during Marineford. But right now, I think like One Piece during like the arc on Wano and overall on not Cyberpunk, but what's the Eggman Island arc right now is currently on. I think it's kind of returning to that phase, but I have to admit I haven't really been getting excited for One Piece as much as I was getting excited for it during the Marineford arc. You know, I think One Piece is still good, it's still great, but the last time I felt like One Piece was amazing was definitely during the Marineford arc. And it's not creating that sense of feeling that you get or the feeling you had during that time. But it's still solid. It's a solid show. Well, do I think One Piece will ever return to that? Yes, it's a potential because right now Sabo been kidnapped by the Marines. So maybe they might have another, hurrah moment, when Luffy goes to rescue Sabo. Maybe we might have a resurgence of One Piece having its peak moments again. But for me personally, I don't think One Piece it never really, I don't know what word I'm looking for, but it hasn't really just gotten back to that point of time where I felt like One Piece was like the best show ever, I feel like there's other shows that could take One Piece spot right now. It's just that One Piece is so good at being a solid show and not having too many character assassination moments or having your characters look dumb or stupid or just ruining an arc or wasting too much time on things that don't matter. That's what One Piece is extremely good at. But overall, I hope for One Piece to get back to that point in time where One Piece felt like the greatest show. Because to me personally, it doesn't feel like the greatest show anymore. The only point of time where I feel like it was the greatest show was during the Marineford arc. But I'm hoping that once we get into like what happened with Sabo and Luffy goes to rescue Sabo, maybe we might get to that emotional connection again where One Piece feels like the actual greatest show on history. That's all.